name is Karis, and I am the founder and creator of the Accountability Lounge, as well as or less. I'm just going to run through some things that you have to be on the lookout for when you are trying to do a media review for your business. So we are halfway through the year, and now is a good time to kind of go back and kind of figure out, hey, what has worked so far? What am I doing right? What can I do better at? And how can I improve? And this is the best time to do it, because then you can prepare for the next 6 months. I know this year went by like really, really fast, but if you don't track, if you don't go back and figure out how to do better, you're probably going to find yourself in the same place by the end of this year. By the way, just in case you do not know, I am hosting a virtual goal setting workshop on the 14th and 15th. All the information for that is in the link in my bio. So if you, and this is for the people on Instagram, on my Facebook group, I already have that somewhere in the group, so you can find that on there. But if you're watching this on Instagram, just click the link in the bio and you will find all the information. So let's just jump right in. Okay, so when you are going over your month to kind of, the year, to see what's working or what it's looking like, there are a few things that you want to keep in mind. You want to do this month by month, so that you can have a better view of what exactly each month looked like, what exactly did you do in that month, what worked, what didn't, and then compare them with the other months, and then that gives you a better understanding of what you could potentially be spending more of your time with, or what you need to just scrap. So the first thing you want to do when you're having a media review is to go and pick each month apart. So you go into January, for example, and then you would open your analytics and figure out, well, how much money did I make this month? Where did the money come from? What marketing strategies did I utilize in this time period? Did they work? Which of them worked? How well did it work? What can I do to make it better? So one of the things that a lot of business owners struggle with is they tend to jump from one marketing strategy to the other. And so it's like, well, this one isn't working, and then you try another one, and before it even works, you jump into another one. So one of the reasons why you want to make sure that you are tracking your marketing strategies is because you want to be very sure that it didn't work or it did work. For example, typical marketing strategy takes about 90 days for you to start seeing results. So if you start a new marketing strategy, whatever that is, and you quit in about 20 days because you didn't see the result, you didn't give it enough time, because sometimes you have to get in front of as many people as possible. For example, I think a website has a conversion rate of, and don't quote me, probably somewhere between 2 to maybe 10%. So if you have a conversion rate of 2 to 10% and you're only getting in front of 100 people, obviously the people who are going to buy from you are going to be less than when you are getting in front of 200,000 people and you have a conversion of 2%. The number of people who buy are higher because at that point in time, you're getting in front of more people. So before you jump from one marketing strategy to another, you want to understand what has worked. So when you go into your analytics, you go and you check, so how much money did I make this month? Obviously, this is me making an assumption that you did have a goal for how much you wanted to make that month, or you have a goal for how much you want to make for the whole of the year. So for example, if your goal was to make about $50,000 by the end of 2019, that means that right now in June 2000, what am I saying? If you wanted to make $50,000 at the end of 2018, now that we're in June 2018, you should be hitting about $25,000, right? So if you go into your analytics and in January you made about $5,000, and in February you made about maybe 15,000. That's getting closer, right? And so let's just assume that the rest of the months were just really, really bad. And right now you're looking at your analytics, you're finding out that you only made $20,000. So that means that you're $5,000 short and you have to make $30,000 before the end of the year. So what does that mean? You have to go back to February and figure out, why did I make $15,000 this month? What are the strategies that I implemented? Where did I spend my time on in February? Where did that money come from? So going into your analytics should be telling you who brought that traffic, where did the conversion happen, how did it happen, what time did it happen? So when you understand what actually worked in February, now going forward from July till December, you can go back to February and just redo what you did. So the whole thing with business and marketing is optimizing what worked. So if you go back in February and you realize that, hey, I sent a lot more emails in February and I posted 3 times instead of once on social media, then you're seeing also that the traffic that converted came from social media and came from email. What does that mean? It means that going from July to December, you want to increase your email, you want to optimize your email marketing, and you want to go harder on social media. So understanding what worked helps you do better. So you cannot run your business trying to guess, like, oh, maybe today I'll send an email, or maybe today I'll post on Twitter, whatever the case may be. You cannot afford to just guess through it. So you have to go back into your analytics and understand where exactly is that coming from. The next thing you want to do is you want to understand which of your products made you the most money. So if you are an e-commerce business owner and you sell clothes, or you sell hair, whatever it is that you sell, you want to understand which of the products in your store made you the most money. So that means if there was one particular product that people were buying a lot, I know that I've experienced that before, where there's just this one particular item that just went crazy on Google Shopping, and everybody was finding it on Google and hopping over to the site and buying it. And so I had about 1,000 orders from this one dress from Google Shopping. And so what happened? What did I do? I optimized it. I went back and I started researching, who are the other people who are selling these dresses? What are people searching to find this dress on Google Shopping? How can I make sure that this particular product will always be bought from my site instead of the other people? And so I started optimizing it. I started checking, how much are the other people charging? What are they doing about shipping? What pictures do they have on there? What are the reviews looking like? And I started optimizing my store so that when people search for that product on Google, since I knew that it was coming from Google Shopping, they will find it on Google Shopping, and my product would be the better option over everybody else. So going back into your analytics and understanding which particular product is selling the most, why is it selling the most, how can I optimize it to sell more, and how can I make sure that whenever somebody comes to my store or looks for this particular product, I will always be the better option. These are things that you have to understand when you go back and understand what your analytics are telling you. I know that sometimes it can get a little intimidating looking over at your maybe Shopify analytics or Google analytics, but these tools are there to help you make better informed decisions. Because like I said, you cannot guess through your business. You have to actually understand what your metrics are telling you and do more of what is working. So like I said, understand which of the products sold the most. So if in January one particular product sold the most, you have to figure out, why did that sell? Was it because it was the winter time? Is it because it was cheaper? Is it because of the color? Like, figure out what people that were buying it were saying. And with this, that means that you're getting feedback from your customers. So you're asking your customers, hey, when you guys shopped from me the last time, what was your experience? Why did you shop? Ask these people questions, open-ended questions, so that don't ask them a yes or no questions. You want to ask them questions that allow them to share their reasoning with you, because when you understand why your customers are buying from you, you understand how to market to them better. So go in and check for January, February, March, April, May, June. What did I do? I optimized it. I went back and I started researching, who are the other people who are selling this dress from Google Shopping? What are they doing about shipping? What pictures do they have on there? What are the reviews looking like? And I started optimizing my store so that when people search for that product on Google, they will find it on Google Shopping, instead of the other people. So going back into your analytics and understanding which of the products made you the most money. So what products sold the most in these months, and how can I optimize to make sure that the next time somebody comes on my site that I can either sell more of this product or have other products that look like this product. Because once you understand what people are coming to you for, then you can optimize the people, how much you can make from the product that they're buying from you. So if it's summer, and the dress that I was using as an example was a glitter dress. It was right around the time that I believe it was Rihanna who had wore something similar to that, and everybody was going crazy about it because they wanted to have the same look. And so that was why that particular dress was selling. So for your case, it could be because maybe somebody else, like another celebrity, is wearing a similar dress like that, and you have it on your store and everybody wants it. So you want to understand the psychology behind why people are buying so that you can play to that. So another thing I have on the list is, understand the strategies that you implemented. So for example, if you go into February, for the example that I was using, where I was like, let's say you made the most money in February, and you go into February and you're like, well, this month I sold this much money, I sold this much products. What did I do this month? So take some time out and write out the strategies that you're implementing, because you want to understand if you're spending your time in the right place. So if, for example, you're making a lot more sales when you sell. So I had a client who was so into growing her social media list, and she was like, I just want to get to X amount of followers. And I was like, that's great, but I need to ask you, when you post, what is it that you're doing in your business right now that makes you the most money? Like, what is it that whenever you do it, you see some sales coming? And she was like, actually that happens when I send an email to my email list. So basically when she sends an email to the people on her email list, she gets more sales. So does it make sense that you're trying to grow an Instagram following when you should be trying to grow your email list, right? So basically what you want to understand is, where should you be spending your time? So if you're spending your time trying to grow Instagram when actually you should be spending your time nurturing your email list, that's a waste of your time. Because if people are just liking your pictures on Instagram, that's not going to make you any money. But if they convert over to your email list and they buy your product when you send it to them, then that's where you should be spending most of your time. So what I would say to that, or what I said to her, was like, well, yes, you can continue growing your Instagram, but your focus on Instagram shouldn't be to grow followers. Your focus should be funneling those people on Instagram into your email list, because as we all know, we don't own Instagram, we don't own Facebook, we don't own Twitter, we don't own any of these other networks. So if these platforms go away, your 50,000 followers go with them. And so if you don't find a way to get these people into your email list, that's a waste of your time. Because I lost an account of 5,000 followers, and I made the mistake of not growing an email list. And so imagine losing that account of 5,000 because it got hacked or whatever, and then having to start over. That's painful. And so you want to understand, should you be spending all of your time on growing social media, or should you be spending it on your email list? So taking time to figure out what strategies worked and where am I putting the most of my time is what's going to help you do better, because you don't want to work harder, you want to work smarter. So going over and saying, okay, what strategies have I implemented over the past 6 months? Which of them worked? And with all of the strategies that worked, where was I actually spending the most time? So that you can figure out if you were spending time on the strategies that were working, or if you were spending time on the ones that weren't making you any money. Because as a business owner, you don't want to be spending your time doing stuff that doesn't make you money. That is a total waste of time. So if trying to grow a social media account, and there's nothing wrong with growing a social media, I'm just saying you should be strategic about how you're trying to grow it. So if you're growing your social media, there should be an end goal for it. So am I growing my social media to get them into my email list? Then yes, that makes sense. When whatever you're putting out there on social media should have a call to action where you're saying, hey, go join my email list, or give some kind of incentive to get them on your platform so that there you can nurture them. So the first thing I said was to go over each month of the past 6 months, go into your analytics and understand what happened, what is happening, and why is it happening. Go understand which of the months made you the most money and why that month made you that much money, and how you can replicate it. Pay attention to the strategies. So list out all of the strategies that you have implemented over the past 6 months and figure out, were they the right strategies? Did they work? And were you spending more time on strategies that were working, or were you spending them on the ones that weren't working? And then what else do I have on my list? For the bad months,